I'm Rosa Mendez, and I'm here at the #1 Long Island broadcast, Monte The Pharaoh. I had the best time ever!
Hey, listen, Daddy, you're listening to the #1 broadcast, Monte and Pharaoh, Daddy, in Long Island. The best pro wrestling broadcast of all time, I think.
Jimmy, I got to tell you, man, it feels good to be back on YouTube. It was quite disappointing what happened to us, but we bounced back fairly quickly.
Well, what else would we do? We're almost at 5,000 subscribers.
Well, speaking of that, man, we need more members.
Okay.
What do you think we need to do to get the people of those 5,000 subscribers to come on and join the team as a Monte the Pharaoh member?
Nudity is out of the question. Any other ideas?
I don't know, man. I don't know. But what I do have a few ideas.
Well, just like Prel, they should tell 2 friends, and they could tell 2 friends, and so on and so on. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Check out all our content.
But that's, you know what? That's why you're the star of the show, because guess what? Members get special content. Even we spoke about it. Pharaoh came to me one day and he goes, man, what's the deal? I can't even watch some of these videos because I'm not a member. And I said, there you go, Pharaoh. You got to be a member because this is what the members get. They get free content that none of the other fans that watch this show get.
That's right.
You get free autographs from some of these wonderful stars that come in, right?
Nice.
All you do is you go to the MNP webpage, or our own page, and shoot us an email and say, hey, man, I want a picture of Tommy Rich. I want a picture of whatever. And boy, that's on its way.
We give them their choice.
That's right.
We rock.
We do rock.
And you need to rock, too. Join.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestler broadcast, Monte the Pharaoh, only seen here out of Indie Music TV. At the table here, we've got Marty Jannetty, who's graced us with his
hood,
his essence. And on the couch, we have returning guest. We've got Val Venis, who was in our original studio. And then... Holy cow.
And waving,
hi, everybody.
Mr. Eugene.
Mr. Eugene.
WWE Law?
You know, Eugene, I read somewhere where you said you were no longer going to tour as Eugene. Did that change?
What?
No. I said Eugene has started his retirement tour. Handsome Jimmy Valiant was on retirement tour for 15 years. Kiss has been on retirement tour for 26 years.
Very true.
Whenever I have my last match, then the tour's over. That's what somebody asked me. When's it going to end? When I have the last match, and I don't know when that is. So everybody needs to book Eugene now because the tour can come to an end at any time.
Hey, Ric Flair's been doing it for 40 years.
Right.
So it's kind of like we joined this new app, which is called Intuitive, and then the owner calls me and says, hey, Monty, it's unbelievable news.
Oh, boy.
What's that, buddy?
I can't believe
Unbelievable
you.
news.
Are you really?
Okay, what's going on?
He's really...
Well, Jim Beam has just signed us $1.5 million. Contract's coming. Are you kidding me?
Here
and then I thought to myself, I've been around this nonsense, right? In my real life, I don't have to deal with this shit, but maybe it's a bunch of bullshit. But then again, I didn't call him asking. He called me. So maybe it's real. And then I call him again. He goes, they're just looking over the contracts. We're almost there. We're almost there. And then he disappears.
Evaporated.
So more bullshit.
Like a fart
So
in the
just
wind.
like Eugene tour, as long as people book you, you will continue to tour until you're 87 years old.
And you can bump it up a couple of dollars.
as
His
long as the spandex
retirement
don't fall
tour
off.
should go up.
I love it.
And he's going to have viewers, so he's good to go.
That's it.
Yeah.
And
he's good to go.
And he'll actually get something for it, unlike us,
Right.
who just get shit on.
Yeah,
The
pretty
guy
much.
The guy may come back around.
I don't know. I've been now shit on by we've been shit on from
Here goes
Intuitive,
Mike.
Jim Beam, and Eric Sims. This has been a good day.
Yeah, it's been a trinity of pleasure.
All right, well, here's something good for you, Pharaoh and Marty, before we get to our valued
for me
guests
and
who we love
Marty.
so much.
Okay.
Sports World reacts to Brittany Griner's controversial announcement.
What does she want
The
now?
WNBA star Brittany Griner made her stance on transgender athletes
Shut the F up.
very clear this week.
Shut
Griner
up.
made it
More
clear
than
that
once,
she's
too.
supportive of inclusion.
Oh, I feel so much-
especially when it comes to trans athletes.
Wait, hold on. What did she do this on?
It was
What
actually
platform?
on Fox News and
Okay.
I think ESPN covered it.
Okay.
I saw it several times.
Who gives a fuck what she thinks?
I always thought,
Just for the record.
I thought she was a transgender, but they're swearing.
No,
out
she's
that
just an
not.
asshole.
I mean, it's got the guy's voice, and there was a picture of her playing basketball. They'll pick up out on the
Would it
court
be wrong
with
for
no
whoever
shirt on
edits
and
the
slap
film
it
to
as
not
the
put
guy's
her on?
body.
I'm sorry,
Would it be
Eugene.
wrong for whoever edits the film to just not put that story on?
That would have been the responsible thing.
Taking
That
a
would have
knee,
been
not taking a knee. Why didn't the cameras just point the other way? Let them do what they want to do, and I respect that, and they can do it. But why do we put it on TV?
How was
if
she
I'm
in
an
the
NFL
story?
owner, I'm not going to put that on TV.
Yeah. She shouldn't be exposed to
It's
anybody,
a
her
big-
opinion or
it's a
anything
big work
else.
to get everybody arguing.
Yeah.
What's it called, Val? Divide and conquer.
Hey,
She ain't
that's
conquering
where it's at
shit
That's
in
why.
my
That's why the
universe.
Earth is really flat. Half the people think it's round. Half the people think it's flat. It's another way to divide the
it's
people and conquer them.
It's flat?
Well,
Okay.
she's got a little
It
more to
was back
say.
in
We
the
didn't hear
1400s.
everything she had to
I
say.
apologize. I interrupted.
No, you
Go
did
ahead.
not interrupt, sir. It is your show.
Yeah.
She says that's ranks high on our list and things that she'll be fighting for and speaking up against.
You go, girl.
Griner said this week, everyone deserves to play. So if you're a man and you're really not good enough to play basketball, become a woman and then you might be able to play some
Yeah,
basketball.
kick some serious vaginal ass.
Or if you're pretty good as a man, you become a woman and
Hold
win
on.
things.
If you get arrested, what prison do you go to?
What's that?
If you get arrested, what prison do you go to?
Yeah,
Good
really.
question.
Which one?
At that point,
What if you feel strongly both ways? Is there
All
a
right, so wait a
department
minute, hold
for
on.
that?
You know what?
or-
That's a really good question, man. I'm going to ask both of you this, right? You're at a place of work. You have to work. A transgender has been hired. You're going to the bathroom, and they come in there.
Hello.
Hold on. One quick guy.
Go ahead.
Is his dick bigger than mine?
Don't
Wow.
Okay. Go
Don't
ahead.
know, but my legitimate
Are
question
you
is-
inspecting to find out?
I was just wondering.
Okay. Fair enough.
My question is the company you're working for putting you in a ridiculous predicament? Please answer.
Ooh.
I don't know what the general rules of bathrooms and bathroom etiquette professionally is, but that wouldn't bother me.
No?
Val?
Yeah, if it's all in the end, it's got to be able to reach the ultimate goal of exchanging value. At the end of the day, you're looking for your customer's value. Doesn't matter whether you're providing a product or a service. You're looking to make sure that customer leaves happy and is willing to return and give you their money again. So, I mean, if you have a transgender in there that's focused on the job and it isn't bothersome to the customers, I don't see an issue with it at all. But if that same person turns around and says, "You what do they call it? Misgendered me," then we got a problem because I'm not playing that game.
I
you
think
know what mean?
I think we might be missing the question here. You are an employee
I
of
think he
the
understands
company.
he's just got two different issues because he's pissed off because he don't want to call a him or her a them.
I'm not.
You're
I'm
born in a certain
all
way.
all I'm trying to say is you're an employee of the company. You're
Right.
a man. You go to the men's room.
Okay.
Right.
There's a transgender who now comes to the men's room.
Where you at?
Now, is a woman that comes dressed as a man?
Well, not dressed, whatever.
No,
right?
it was formerly a woman who's had a sex change, and now you're
Doesn't
both
even
share-
need to be a sex. Whatever she.
Well, what's she doing in the
whatever
men's room?
that person
I don't know
identifies
what's going
itself as.
Would you get in trouble if you changed in front of that person?
I guess the question is, don't you feel the company should be liable for putting you as the male employee in a look?
In
To
a
be honest with
strange position.
you, I'm not trying to be disgusting,
That's possible.
but you're going to take a dump, right? And here comes this.
Brittany Griner.
There you go. Thank you, sir. Is the company putting you in a predicament that you have to feel like uncomfortable that you are a man?
But what's the difference between alternative clubs? I was in Australia at an alternative clubs doing all kinds of drinks one night, and I was in the bathroom. I had to go, and it just tore up the bathroom. The next person was this young 21-year-old girl waiting in line next because it was unisex bathrooms. After I literally just spread Georgia mud all over the place.
Jesus Christ Almighty!
You talking about
Georgia
Georgia
mud?
Oh, it was like all the way up the thing. It was bad. It was that
Holy
Australian food.
landslide. What the
I was, Australian food.
But we don't have unisex bathrooms in most places. We have a men's room and a women's room. So where you at when you walk
except for
in
Tennessee.
and G.I. Joe has got a G.I. Jane?
I don't know. Like, would it be different when you have a biological woman dressed as a man walking into a man's restroom? Would men really get offended with that? Would you just look at that and go like, "There's another weirdo"?
I figured I was in
and
Greenwich
just ignore
Village.
it? As compared to if you're a female in the female restroom and a man dressed as a female walks in there.
That seems to be
It
a
is different.
situation.
You're
I
right.
honestly don't think.
What do we got
I
going
might
on
turn
there?
around and see a female come in and go, "This weirdo." But really, I'm a guy. I don't care. But I don't think that's the same for rational women in the women's restroom.
Right.
I
You're right.
think
I
they
agree
can
with you on
be a
that.
little weirded
That's very
out
interesting.
to the point
Yeah.
where fear can. I mean, I'm not going to fear a
Big
woman
time.
coming into the men's restroom. I
Yeah.
really don't care.
Right.
I don't think it's moral. I don't think it's ethical. I think you should stay in your lane. But if they're going to have
Okay.
some kind of mental disorder that says, "Screw society's norms, I'm going in there anyway," okay, so be it. Have fun. You know what I mean? But I think it's different for women.
Val, is it society's norms or is it the natural law of order?
It's the natural order of things.
Okay.
It's the absolute natural order of things.
Okay.
And it's just the way it is.
And
It's
that
the way it
natural
always
order
has
of
been.
things tells you to stop at that stop sign.
There we go.
The stop sign's a suggestion, right? I mean, if you're coming
It's
up
a
to it,
suggestion. Boy, you wouldn't
if
do
you
very
come up
well
to a
here in
stop
New York.
sign and you can clearly see that there's no one else coming for miles
Tell
away.
the cop it's a suggestion. What do you think's going to happen?
He's done it.
You really have to bring your car to a full and complete stop. I mean, if you can see for miles around,
You
that
better.
it's completely clear.
If there's a machine getting ready to photograph
Well,
you better.
Well, I mean, some people
Because
would say you
somebody's
better.
watching.
Well,
Yeah, that's
you know,
rough.
Yeah,
that's
some
rough.
people would say you better. I drive right through it.
Nice. You'd have a fleet of tickets here in New
He's
York.
not allowed
Oh
in the
my
courtroom.
God.
He can do what
Yeah,
he
it'd be
wants
like
in his
you
budget.
again?
Undefeated in the courtroom.
Oh,
Undefeated.
you'd be famous. You
So-
would be famous.
I- He's getting there.
I ask you both this question. Is it possible that a human being is born and they are born as a female and or a male, and then within their lifetime they realize that they really
Realize?
want to, or they should be, because that's their feeling, that they want to
Okay.
be the opposite sex? Is
Okay.
that actual? Do you believe that is a possibility?
If somebody feels that, the men that chop their wieners off, yes, I believe what they're saying.
Because what they're
How
because they really are showing their conviction.
But look at it this way. Let's say there's a guy who's 37 years old, and his whole time he's wanted to change his identity, but he hasn't been able to do it. If he would have started when he was younger, the people that do say they have a more. Some say they have a more productive life, and they're living the life they want to live. I don't think it's necessarily right to give the hormones to the kids, but the 37-year-old guy that looks like a dude in a dress, if he would have had the hormones when he was
Dude, right, the
younger,
ladies.
he would have developed into a woman and may have had a better life. You know what I mean?
yeah, no, I hear you.
I don't know what's right and what's wrong, and I don't have any kids.
Nick, that's a great that's a great answer, and I get where you come from. What do you think, Val?
I think we should show a lot more love for human beings in general, and I think we should recognize mental disorders. And instead of accepting,
better recognize.
Instead of accepting and nurturing and coddling those mental disorders into conditioning people that, oh yeah, hey, if you feel that way, go ahead and chop your junk off. I think that's immoral, unethical, and I don't think it's compatible with a civil society. I think we should try to recognize mental disorders and then, in a loving and compassionate way with empathy, look to seek help for those people suffering from those mental disorders.
So you're not recommending shock treatment like in the
recommending
50s
shock,
or 60s?
But, I mean, let's face it, mental disorders are a real thing. Gender dysphoria is a real thing. I don't think it's a real thing for as many people that think they have it today. I don't think that's real at all. I think the majority of the gender dysphoria people right now are conditioned by the public education system, Hollywood, and mainstream media.
And
I don't think
that
that's
damn
real
TikTok.
gender dysphoria.
And that damn TikTok.
And TikTok. I don't think that's real gender dysphoria. That's mental conditioning. That's programming. The ones that suffer from real gender dysphoria are some of the ones that have been sexually abused when they were younger, had some kind of traumatic issues when they were younger, and they're really suffering. I mean, these people are really suffering from that. We shouldn't coddle that. We should look to help those people and deal with their mental disorder. I think that's what civil societies do. This whole idea that we should just, oh, you feel like you want to play with Barbie's little 5-year-old? Well, maybe you're a girl. You should really think about that. Let's not go tell your parents. Let's just talk about this every day whenever you come to grade 1, grade 2. Let's talk. I think that is evil personified.
Val, if
and
I
I
could-
think it's incompatible with freedom, it's incompatible with liberty, and it's incompatible with anything that resembles a civil society.
You think you should homeschool your children?
Well, I think homeschooling is probably your best bet these days.
You hear about those guy students that get molested by their women teachers? That happened to me, but I was homeschooled.
Jesus.
Wait a second. What? What?
Have you heard about the new corduroy pillows? You should. They're making headlines.
Val, I got to ask you, and I'll divulge a little personal stuff. I'm a former elder at a Christian church. Is God under attack nowadays, as far as the Christian God?
From the FBI.
Why is this happening, and why is this okay?
You know, God is a foundation.
Because Chinese is a non-religious state, and that's what we're going towards. Go ahead.
I think God
I'm not against what he said. Val, please.
I think God is a foundation of truth, fact, logic, morality, and ethics, and I think it's something that's when society bases the foundation of their core, which is what the founding fathers of America were God-fearing men.
Yes.
And
that's why we're here.
That's why we're here. And I think when you set up a nation based on a solid foundation,
right,
and you start, conditioning, indoctrinating people with God and morality and ethics, I think you have a lot more prosperous society. You have a lot more civil society.
What's
happening?
A
godless society. I mean, you're looking at Sodom and Gomorrah.
What's happening now? Is this man's free will and God just patiently waiting in your mind?
Could be.
God gave everybody
Rapture's
free
coming,
will,
brother.
right?
Rapture's coming.
God gave everybody free will. I mean,
what if the rapture was everybody that died with COVID? Ooh.
Damn.
Well, I mean, you take a look at God. He gave man free will.
Yes, he did.
He didn't dictate anything. If he did dictate a belief in Jesus, none of us would be debating that issue.
Correct.
It would just be true. And
that's free will.
The fact that he gave us free will, I think we need to exercise that free will because that's a gift. And I think we should always do it with an eye towards morality and ethics, the ultimate morality and ethics, including when you get traffic tickets and you got to go stand in front of a judge.
Go back to Nassau County because you had no regard for any of our stop signs.
I grew up an altar boy, so the best way to get a nun pregnant.
Oh, here we go.
Dress her like an altar boy.
What? Marty's just
terrible.
Marty, got anything for these guys?
So I'm going to read a quote. I'm going to read a quote for someone to see if you can tell me who this person is. Okay. The 10 Commandments are a set of biblical principles that are traditionally understood as a moral code given by God to Moses on Mount Sinai.
True.
Mm-hmm. They are recorded in the Old Testament book of Exodus and are as follows: "You shall have no other gods before me.
Whoa.
You shall not make for yourself an idol in form of anything in heaven above or on earth beneath or its waters below.
No golden calves.
You shall not misuse the names Lord your God.
Yep, no swearing.
Remember the Sabbath day by keeping it holy.
Better respect it.
Honor your father and your mother.
Obviously.
You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery or steal.
Duh.
You shall not give false testimony against thy neighbor.
No lying.
And judges, that one's for all of you.
Right.
You shall not covet anything that belongs to your neighbor.
Take it easy on that.
Do you know who that quote was from?
What?
Do you know who that quote was from?
God!
Beyond that, it started with
Charlton Heston.
It started with the 10 Commandments are said as blah blah blah. Anyway, it is you, Val. So my question to
it's Val's quote.
So my question to you, sir, is this: I am now someone that doesn't agree with you, and they turn to you and say, "Well, this is coming from a man who performed as a porn star, and was a major influence on millions and millions of people."
This is true.
What does Val respond to that?
Wow. Well, pro wrestling's entertainment. And no matter what kind of entertainment you do, I mean, we could do a complete play about heaven and hell. Does it make it wrong for the person playing the devil to play the devil?
What about that movie that came out? There was like 3 of them, S&M. Shades of black, shades of gray, shades of white. Had Don Johnson's daughter in it.
3 Shades.
50 Shades of Grey.
Yep, you got it.
Yeah.
Shades of Grey. Yeah.
50 Shades of Grey.
50 Shades of Grey. I heard of
It's
that.
a similar on the edge sexual character that has been normalized and put in a mainstream movie.
Well, you know, the one thing is when we look back at the Val Venis character, I remember specifically when Vince was first describing this right before we were getting ready to do the first Raw with the Val Venis character was when I went out there was he wanted me to tell a joke, and the joke had to be structured in a way where the adults, the parents, would get it, and the kids would be going,
Clueless.
"Why are you all laughing?"
Clueless, right.
And I think for the most part, I think Vince did a really good job calling the shots on that.
What was the joke? Do you remember?
How about the Rubik's Cube?
By the way, Val, that was a
know,
fantastic response you gave to my question. So thank you for that.
Val, when you
I
had
want to hear this Rubik's Cube joke.
You don't remember the Rubik's
I don't
Cube
remember.
joke?
No.
The Rubik's Cube joke was, hello, ladies. You know something, ladies? The Big Val Boski is a lot like a Rubik's Cube. You know, the longer you play with it, the harder it gets.
Oh, awesomeness.
Val, did you have any pangs of guilt when you came to Christ, like, about your gimmick? Come on, man.
I'm not going to say it didn't cross my mind a whole bunch
okay.
of times, but
That's
I chalk
being
it
real.
up as, hey, what's done is done at that point. You know what I mean?
So far,
I don't know. I enjoyed doing the character. I had a good time.
But you did think about it a little bit, right?
Yeah, of course.
That's
just your
normal.
mind. Yeah,
That's
I'd be lying
normal.
if I said
So
I didn't
can,
think
can,
about
can
it.
I ask you a question then? I was listening
Perfectly
to
normal.
Russo on an interview.
Bro.
And
What's up, bro? What's up?
I'm not a big fan of Russo, neither is Pharaoh.
No, bro.
My first question to Nick: what did Vince Russo ruin wrestling?
Oh, ruined
I don't think
WCW.
so.
I don't
Oh,
think so. The
jeez.
one thing I'll say
Taking
with
it easy on him. What is this crap?
So the one thing when he stayed behind the camera, like when he was in WWE,
Okay.
he was behind the camera. They had no intention.
You mean
of
with
putting him in front of
Vince
the camera.
keeping him in check is what you mean, right?
He would push the
Right?
envelope, number one, and number two, everybody on the show had a story. There was a point in time when Crash
enough.
Holly was a bigger star
Crash
than,
Holly was-
than,
yeah.
than Goldberg, for
Yeah,
example.
Crash
He
Holly
in
was
the
rocking.
storyline.
Yeah,
And so I think he was extremely effective that way.
Okay.
Now, when he went over to WCW, it seemed like he slowly got in front of the camera, and then it
Fell
just-
in love with himself, perhaps, a little bit?
Maybe.
Or he
it
put
just-
the belt
it
on
just should
himself.
have been WCW.
It could have been.
Because there was nobody got in the ship that knew what they were
The
doing.
ship already sinking, nothing he could do to save it?
Well, the ship wasn't sinking. They were on TV. When nobody
Okay.
went on TV, then they were done.
Did Vince Russo kill WCW?
I don't
And
know.
if not, what killed WCW?
The sale of Turner. That's
Eric
what
Bischoff
I
killed
don't
WCW.
know. I thought it was. But
Because otherwise, it still could have been on.
I think with Vince Russo, I think once he started to get more in front of the camera, his writing, his plethora of writing stories to the entire card shrunk up to his story.
He's
He
out of
became
ideas.
distracted?
generally what
Yes,
happens.
I think it
He
was
lost. He
distracting
lost. He
from
lost
what
his
was
vision
really
on the
good at.
mission, right?
Okay.
He
Okay.
he was so. But he tells a story that when he meets you, he comes down and he can't. I want you to tell the story, but he can't figure out anything to do with you. Can you tell the story how the Val Venis character was created?
So from what I understand, this is what Vince Russo was telling me was, I was still wrestling in Mexico at the time, and they flew me up to the television studios, and I was talking with Vince, and then Vince was driving me from the television studios back over to Titan Towers.
Vince drove the car?
Driving
Vince
you.
Russo, yeah.
Oh.
So
I thought McMahon for
That's
a
what I
second.
thought too.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
oh,
we're good. We're
Vince
good.
drove you around?
Russo. So we were going
was
over
like,
to
what?
the towers to meet Vince McMahon, right?
Okay. Okay.
And so we drove over there, and I was just talking politics with him the whole time, the whole ride over there. So we get over to the towers, and, we were doing whatever we were doing over there, a bunch of different stuff to do. And then after I had left back to Mexico, I guess Vince Russo kept on thinking, when I was talking about politics in the car ride over to the studios, he kept thinking in the back of his mind, I don't know anything about politics, but this guy looks like a porn star.
That's what he took out of your political
And
discussion?
so at some point he went,
Okay.
he went up to McMahon and I guess basically put it to Vince McMahon, and they both said, hey, let's call him and see if he likes this. And they
The way
ended up
Dr.
calling
Tom
him
said it
Mexico.
was, there's something sleazy about this guy. A porn star.
Nice. Very nice. Did you naturally gravitate towards this sleazy character? Or?
He slid right into it.
There you go. Slid right in.
Well, you know, when I was
holy
in
lube.
Mexico,
Oy.
they called me about 7 a.m. and so it was a secretary at the time had called me and I had answered and they said, "Hey, I'm going to put you through to Vince McMahon's office. He's in there with Vince Russo. They want to talk to you." I said, "Okay." So they patched me through, and they said, "Hey, we have this character. We want to know if you feel comfortable playing this character. If you don't feel comfortable playing this character, let us know, because if you don't feel comfortable with it, it's not going to work." And I was like, "Okay, well, shoot, what is it?" And he goes, "Okay, so the character's name's Val Venis," and he spelled the last name Venis. And when he spelled it like that, I was kind of like, okay. And then he goes, "Now, Val Venis was a former film star turned pro wrestler." And the first thing that pops into my head is, okay, Hogan and Jesse Ventura, they've already done this. Like this, how is this going to be any different? How's it going to be fresh? How's it going to be new? And so I'm thinking in my head, like, no, this has been done before. And then Vince McMahon stops and he goes, "Actually, Val Venis was a former adult film star turned pro wrestler." And I
Boing!
went, "Oh yeah, just twist my arm a little more. This ain't ever been done before." And so he told me, he goes, "Well, hold on. Think about it for 24 hours. Just make sure you'll feel comfortable with it." And I said, "I'm comfortable with it, bro." It's never been done before, you know. And so anyways, he made me wait another 24 hours. I called back the next morning and said, "Let's do it."
Did you know who Jenna Jameson was when you did that shoot with her? Because and did you get any chance to hook up with her? Because man, oh man. What do you mean no?
No.
Didn't even try?
No, I didn't even try.
Oh my
No,
God!
did
Did you know who she was?
You don't have time when you're in and out and makeup and going lines and just.
Had you seen her work before she came in?
No, I didn't even know who she was.
Oh my
until
God!
I got up
I would have
there.
been so distracted,
is it
Marty.
true that
I would have been ruined.
When you were doing these
Yeah.
great vignettes with her,
They were great.
that McMahon said, "I don't find her attractive. Forget it." I
Did
don't
he
want
really
these
say
vignettes."
that
Did he
about
edit
her?
her out?
Yes. So what
Did
happened
he
was,
what?
Edit her
happened
out?
was at that point in time, I guess she was going through from what I understand, she was going through a pretty solid rough patch in her life, and she'd gotten out of shape.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so when she stood up behind the bush, she was kind of little, you know.
Was she really not super hot when you did those promos?
Oh no,
with her?
she was still hot, but not as
She was
hot as
not
Vince,
as tight.
I guess would remember
Not as
her or
tight, quote
expect her
unquote.
to be.
Okay.
She had
Okay.
a little bit of imperfections.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And yeah, so I guess they just said no, that ain't gonna work. And
Wow.
So, yeah, but
So that's why you guys hid behind the vines.
No, they both
Kinda.
came up, but they never played her.
yeah,
They just played him coming out.
And then we did
Yeah.
a whole hot tub scene too, and the hot tub scene, I guess, because was her getting in and out of the suds.
Bruce Pritchard was
I
so
wish I
excited
did
because they
Missy,
filmed
yeah.
stuff in his
Oh, it
house,
was.
in
I was
his
looking at it.
bed that he sleeps in with his wife. And he said his wife comes home and she's like, "Is that a porn?" "Yes, it is." "Isn't it so cool, honey?" "Okay."
Did you have any words with her? Was she cool?
No, yeah, she was cool. She was
Okay.
cool.
You ever see her again after that?
No, she was there with her
So
boyfriend.
weird,
too.
man.
She was
With
there
a boyfriend?
Ortiz,
Yeah.
or was it Ortiz, the MMA guy?
No, he was. This was
That was
before
later.
Ortiz.
Oh, it was
Yeah,
later.
that was
this
later.
Before
Has it
Ortiz.
been that long ago?
Yeah.
I
a little
literally
while.
flew up from Mexico. I did the vignettes, and I flew right back to Mexico
Ortiz,
to continue wrestling. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we got Marty here, right? So there's that, you know, you got all these different eras of wrestling,
This
right?
is true.
And then you
Sitting
guys,
right here.
kind of move into that future era. When you guys see these, I don't want to say older wrestling stars. Don't take it the wrong
The
way.
previous generation.
But like,
Previous generation.
how do you guys mark out for like a Marty Jannetty or someone of
wouldn't.
that age?
That's all I've done all day is ask for pictures.
Really?
Oh,
Everybody-
yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
What
yeah,
are your memories of Marty growing up? I mean, you must have seen Marty plenty
How
of
did you
times
do?
before
How
he got
did
in
you
the ring.
do
Absolutely.
the suplex cross body? How did you do the goddamn suplex cross? That looked so
How did you do
dangerous.
that?
And I'm going, oh my god, that move was awesome.
You know, that was one of Sean's few inventions that he came up with.
But
Most
you
of the
guys
good
didn't-
stuff
you-
he takes credit for.
You guys didn't use it much. I saw it a couple times and it was beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, we did an AWA a lot.
Did it hurt
that was
people?
that like our finish then, but once we got over the WWF and all the giants, we got to come up with more shit, you know, because everybody was 6'6" and muscled up.
Marty, when you see AEW today, do you feel like you helped pave the way for some of these guys that do more?
I mean, a couple steps of their path, but it was a long-ass
Couple?
path. I mean,
Right.
brothers did. I mean, we all contribute to guys that are coming next, We all beating down the path. I went down a couple bad paths that I hope they don't follow, but, we all contribute. I mean, we've all been seen by the younger guys, and,
Did you borrow that big trailer in Ireland and drive it around the parking lot?
What?
It wasn't in Ireland, it was England.
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
The tour bus.
The UK.
Everybody's in eating, and he just decides to start driving the tour bus.
No, it wasn't quite like that. Now, what happened, the guy was, the driver, I mean, the stuff.
You're a menace, Marty. You really are.
Well, no, what
I
happened?
can't take him anywhere. Ugh.
The guy, the driver was being a dick. I'm sorry to say
Okay,
that.
fair enough.
Fair
enough.
It was the brakes, like the air brakes were locking everything when he barely hit them. And we're on a 20-day tour over there in Europe, and we're tired. And when you're tired, and guys hitting the brakes in your head, Jack. And finally, a couple of the guys were like, "Hey, man, easy on the brakes." And at first, he was like just not really trying to do
No
it.
speaking no English.
And then Roddy Piper finally said, "Hey, man, Dad," because Roddy was
Yeah.
He spoke up, and then the guy started janking the shit out of him. Yeah,
Not a good idea.
So
Not a good
we
idea.
had to, it was a peace stop. It was a long way yet to the hotel, straight on that road. But we had, the guys were got to go. So Tanaka was sitting next to me. I said, "Watch this." He goes, "No, don't do it. Don't." He thought I was going to jump on the driver. I'm like, "No, just watch this." And we all went out, about 5, 6 of us are pissed. The driver came out last, and I'm telling everybody, "Hurry up, get back in, hurry up." Well, hurry up, I ain't through pissing. Just get in, piss in the truck. piss in the. And the guys they're over there think he's all cocky. He's fucking with the rustlers. So I drove a tractor trailer truck. I know how to drive, the big vehicles. Got behind the wheel and took off and drove it and left him out on the side of the road.
What happened to him?
I don't know.
Who knows? He's still walking. Well.
Luckily, the hotel was just up another 20 miles, but right there, right off the exit. So I knew where we were going.
He dropped the whole crew off without the driver.
Did they call the cops on you?
Yeah, what the fuck?
No, I forgot who the agent was that came down. You can't do that. I
You
said,
can't drive the bus.
It wasn't me.
I was in France on a bus one time, and Balls Mahoney wanted to watch a DVD.
Balls,
And he had the DVD, and he's looking in the ground, anything that could come up. There's no DVD player. There was a TV. There's got to be a DVD player. So he nowhere to be found. Goes up to the driver who doesn't speak English and is swerving in traffic, trying to scream at this guy to sit down. No, and Balls is just sweating. The jean jacket, the leather jacket, is sweating.
Balls.
And it's got to be on here somewhere. Finally, they go, "Balls, there's no fucking DVD player on here, and if there was, I don't want to die over Mr. Holland's Opus."
That's some good stuff, man. Nice.
I love Balls. What a legend.
Yeah, he was a good brother.
What a legend.
So we were talking about like generations crossing gaps. So Val, we've had so many great stars in here, like you guys.
Oh
and,
yeah. Oh yeah.
It's our honor, right? We're just fans. We're not these
Absolutely.
wrestling experts.
Absolutely.
We know shit about nothing.
Yeah,
but
fuck that. Yep.
we had Missy Hyatt in here. And little did I know is
love
that
Missy. Be
you and Missy ended up having
What?
some sort of relationship. At least that's
Wait a minute!
She said in studio.
What?
Can you clear the air there?
We had a
Val!
relationship.
She in studio said that you and her
Val.
had a relationship. And to quote the Pharaoh said,
I love Missy.
when
Val.
maybe something was that the final episode was about to happen, he asked if you came out and said, "Hello, Missy." But but the point is, clear the air. Did you have a relationship with Missy Hyatt?
Say
I was
that.
never in a relationship with Missy Hyatt.
Not at all.
Now, we might have had a little
Zero
fling
physicality.
here and
Okay,
there,
so
A little what? Wait.
But as far as a relationship, she wanted to. Now, this was just like a one-time thing where she was really trying to push hard to get me to go to Vince to see if she could manage me. This is when I first started.
I would have liked that.
sure.
By the way,
Yeah.
what did you think about that?
So I didn't.
You're the new guy.
didn't like
Wait a
No,
minute.
no, no.
Wait, dude.
You didn't like that idea?
Jimmy,
the new
let
guy.
him
You're gonna ask somebody else.
let him tell the story.
Okay,
So wait.
okay,
So Missy
okay.
is trying to push you, and you're like, well, let me think about
keeps
it.
bringing it up, and you know what I mean? Like, keeps bringing it up, and I'm just like,
What?
I'm the big Val Boski. Get that in your head.
But there is a point where you say, well, let's try you out maybe to see if
Not
you could be
even?
my manager?
Not even? You didn't even think about it at
doesn't
all?
Talk.
Huh?
A good boy doesn't talk.
Okay, well, I'm just saying.
Wow.
Well, there's your answer, Jimmy.
Oh, man. Dude, that would have been great, by the way.
It would have been great.
What
it was great.
Did you like the...
Jimmy, it's going right over.
It
his
is
head.
going
It's
over my head.
over his
I've
head.
got him on TV. He's in the bedroom.
Is it
I
fair?
give up.
Is it fair to say that Missy failed her interview?
What? No way.
You're gonna hold on to her application for later.
Wait a minute. Your imagination didn't even help you out during this? The application failed?
No, I'm not going to give her.
It's still being processed.
Good.
It's and I would say it even went beyond processing, but
What's the grade? Is it you got
if I had to be
F, D, C, B, or A plus? What is
if I
it?
had to be super accurate,
Okay.
and
Mr. Venus?
I'm just trying to be as nice
With
as
his
I
penis?
possibly can.
Accurate, nicely accurate.
Okay. Okay. What are we giving her?
B minus.
Not bad.
Almost good,
B minus.
but not
B
quite
minus
good.
isn't bad.
It's not.
Wait a minute. Almost good, but not quite good.
But if
Passing.
you look like that up
It's-
there and you don't get
But
A
she's
plus,
hot. She's got to get a B. What's
Yeah, but wait a minute. Val caught her on the
downside?
Back end,
The
right?
back nine?
Whoa,
Oh,
this
that's
is her
fucking-
twilight. This is not no
Oh,
downside.
come
This-
on,
this-
man.
no, no, I met her at a
What's
signing.
wrong with
Hold
the
on.
Twilight?
Well, can he speak, please?
Wait a
Thank
minute.
you.
I met her at a signing a couple years ago.
I'm disgusted.
We both walked into the elevator at the same time. The door shut. I was getting nervous. I thought maybe she was going to say something, and the door's open, and she walks out, and nine shut, and I never saw her after
So
that
would you
night.
give that a C plus?
It cost me 30 seconds, to in the bathroom.
I'm not even sure what that story meant.
I don't even know what that meant either. The elevator opened.
That's probably 09. I even got a Western
Well,
grip.
this
Go ahead.
happened
Minus.
back
I'm interested in the
98.
minus.
Right.
This happened back in '98.
Right.
Yeah, but she looks
So-
fantastic. What's the B minus? Where does the minus come in? What's
Missy
with the
Hyatt.
minus?
There is no grade. It's Missy
No,
Hyatt.
he gave her a grade. Explain the minus, though. Because the B is
Minus
good.
Was the minus was
Getting to the bottom of this.
trying to be nice.
Don't try to be nice. Tell the truth. You gave a minus. Why? What's with the minus?
I was hoping Fabulous Moolah was going to try to fuck Eugene.
Dude, that's
I really
a D
was.
minus. Fucking fabulous moolah. What's going
She
on
almost
here?
married Hank Williams Sr. Bite your tongue.
Ooh.
By the way, the dirt
Damn.
sheet just picked that up. Eugene wanted to fuck Moolah. That will be.
Way to go,
that will be,
Eugene!
Well, the truth is, Moolah made a
ruined.
man out of Eugene,
Really?
and that's the truth.
Let's hear it.
I'm not one to speak of a gentleman that's passed away, but Eugene Palermo was a guest of WWE for a long time that the name was brought from. He passed away. A lot of people are calling me, did you pass away? No. Supposedly, the legend goes, the story that Fabulous Moolah felt sorry for Eugene and maybe just had some special time with him. I don't know. I wasn't there.
I understand.
I'm not one to gossip, so you didn't hear from me.
At least you didn't give birth to a hand. Really.
How big is that hand now? It's got to be an
big,
arm.
So Val,
hand's all
basically,
grown up. It's a leg.
if there was a relationship that or something did happen, she would have gotten a B minus.
Yeah, she would have gotten a B minus.
Damn, your B minus is my A plus.
teeth?
I'm
So
depressed.
I'll ask you this, right?
Anyway.
Wrestling is this intertangled family, right? You're all very, very close. You fight, whatever. One thing I was interested to find out is that I did not know this is that your sister was married to Edge at one point.
Yep.
How does that
Whoa.
affect
In
your
real life?
In real
Wow.
life. So how does that
Okay.
affect your life with Edge after they, can people get divorced? This is life. Does that affect your relationship?
No, not at all. No, not at all. I mean, we were still friends. They're still friends to this day.
Okay.
And so,
That's cool.
I knew from day one. I just said, "You guys are getting married, really?" Because they were like two of the same people, and I just knew those heads were gonna butt. It was
Really?
just a matter of time. Yeah.
Okay.
They were two of the exact same people,
Okay.
and so I was surprised it lasted as long as they did. I think it was like 3 years or something like that.
Oh, that's not very long. All right.
I was like,
That's
hey,
5 years in Canadian, though.
Yeah.
Man. Holy cow.
Yeah, has that country ever fallen?
Well
Holy
done.
cow.
So Vincent Kennedy McMahon's had a good 2 years and a rough 2 years, Matt.
Killer mustache, though.
What were your guys' feelings when you heard about the accusations against Vincent Kennedy and McMahon?
Duh. I mean, come on. It's no surprise. I'm sure that anybody with that amount of power, that amount of money, does the exact same thing. And somebody was paid to be quiet, and somebody spoke. Why haven't we found out who that person is?
Vince McMahon, good person, bad person. Vince McMahon, good person, a bad person, who gives a fuck?
I don't know him that well, but he was always good to me, always nice to me.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Val?
same here. He was always good to me, always cool with me. I do think, obviously, you can clearly see it's moral failings on Vince's part. Mm-hmm. But I mean, he's human, right? Should he have left the company based on the fact that he had an affair? No, I don't think he should have ever left the company. It shouldn't even have been consideration. But when you take a look that it's a public company and there are people that are invested in that company, and his job is to continue to create value for the company and not do anything that's going to downgrade the value of that company. And just the appearance of sleeping with employees and, paying them hush money, just that appearance alone does put downward pressure on the stock price. So I can see why the board may want to push Vince out at that moment, but Vince should have really put his foot down and said, I'm not leaving.
But he did something to make everybody forget about all that bullshit. He just grew the mustache.
I told you, that mustache.
Everybody's talking about the mustache now. Nobody's talking
It's
about
a visual distraction. He's a genius.
Nobody's talking about the $26 million he paid to women. He paid more money for pussy than he did for WCW.
Guys, very, very important. I want each one of you to answer this. Marty, how did you feel when Vince McMahon sold the company 51% now to UFC? How do you feel about Vince McMahon?
I never know whether it's a work or not because
it's clearly not a work. This is business. Yeah. So were you shocked that Vince would give up?
If it was going to be the real deal, yeah, because I couldn't imagine him ever giving up the company. It was going to be in the family forever, and it was still climbing.
Were you hurt when you heard? Were you hurt when you heard it? Were you shocked? What were you?
No, I got bigger fish to fry than that.
Okay, but after all, your legacy is tied into Vince McMahon.
But it was a shocker, yeah.
Okay, Eugene, how'd you feel when you heard that Vince had sold?
I didn't think anything of it. I didn't.
Yeah, we
got
different fish.
Another day at the office for you guys?
But my thing is, I'm still under the impression that we need to be reevaluated to find out if we were employees or if we were in contractors.
Okay.
And if there should be any kind of the guys from the NFL got $5 billion for concussions.
Right.
We get nothing.
Okay.
And selling to Endeavor, is that right?
Which is why I'm blackballed from the place now.
That might take one layer away from being close to WWE. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But when you knew everybody, and hell, everybody's 10 years after their run starting to have head problems and can't process and body hurts, and should they pay for it? Should they be responsible? I don't know.
Val?
But everybody else on the Peacock it's on the Peacock is in a union, aren't they? Every other show on the Peacock.
Just going on off that story, playing on your point there.
Sure.
That was the whole reason I got in CTE, that lawsuit. I didn't really want to, like you were saying. I don't know, should they or should they not? I mean, it's all based on assumption of risk. I mean,
but it doesn't matter if you're in it or not. If one wins, we all win.
Right. But it was like, I got sued by Chuck Austin, who got $500,000 from me for doing that rocker dropper, as they called it, move wrong. The only person
I thought it was 27.
Was that?
I thought it was 27 million.
27?
It was actually 30 in the court. They'd come back. They were suing for $10 million in court. And deliberations with 12 people took. You got to hang around the courtroom till 5 o'clock, and then they'd say, "Come home, come back tomorrow." It was getting close. We figured you have to stay there, so we went down to get something to eat, and we went down there 15 minutes maybe, give it about 15 minutes, and they came down, said they're back, they're ready, they got the judgment, and I'm thinking it's impossible. You got 12 people, and they had to go back and deliberate on what was the percentage of negligence for that whole thing, WWE or F at the time. How much negligence was Marty Jannetty? How much negligence was Chuck Austin?
Complicated.
And then, if you found negligence at all, how much do you want to award Chuck Austin for a lifetime, the neck injury, which it was bullshit in that because I had talked to his attorney. Well, we'll just get right to the jury thing. How much percentage is Holly Austin, his wife, how much you want to award her for a loss? There's a term, but I don't know the legal term. The loss of the use of a husband for a lifetime, and two kids for the father for a lifetime.
That's unfortunate.
Okay, that's a lot of shit for 12 people.
That's unfortunate.
To figure out in 15 minutes?
15, unless they said zero. Chuck did.
Like
the real answer was Chuck did it wrong.
There's an assumed risk.
Assumption of risk is a whole.
Show a video after video of you giving that move to everybody else,
and they wouldn't do that. And you know why they wouldn't? They said
that's bullshit. Then
it was. In my opinion, the whole case was bought.
Anybody that's a half-assed decent worker can take the move.
There's nobody done it wrong but him. And he even apologized. He had word get back to me. He was sorry for messing the move up. Anderson, one of those guys that lives in Florida down there, trains a bunch of them guys. I can't think of it. He looks like one of the Andersons. He came to me. He said to tell you he's sorry he did the move wrong. Well, he's on a gurney going out to the helicopter so they could fly him over to Tampa General. You know, where they get right to his broken neck thing. But he said, "Tell Marty I'm sorry."
$27 million move.
You know, Kurt Hennig was announcing one time when I did it to somebody else. And great move. Kurt said, "That'll break your neck." Fucking Kurt.
Val, Val, what did you think when Vince sold the company?
It was a little bit of a shocker. I never expected to see that leave, the company.
Yeah, I was just shocking. That's about it.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a shocker. But then again, you look at who Vince McMahon is. He's a businessman, right? He built this up, and at some point in time, you can take it so far, and then it's time to hand it over to somebody that can continue to take that entity and make it even bigger.
The WWE or the Yankees, are the Yankees in good hands in the future?
I don't watch soccer.
Yeah, I got no idea.
You guys don't keep track of the product at all nowadays?
Not baseball, no.
That's fair enough. I mean,
that I always find
that's
very
interesting.
odd.
Why?
Right?
It's just like, fuck it, it's over with, it's done. I can't look at it.
Jimmy's out of total focus here, so I'm going to try to ask the question. Why does someone who performed in this wrestling,
shut
or
it
even
off?
you hear baseball players and football players say something?
Yeah.
When you get out of it, how do you just not watch it anymore? Is it because you didn't love it, or what makes you not want to even look at it anymore?
I
grew up watching it as a kid and loving it as a kid, and then I started wrestling at 18, and then kind of made a career out of it. So it just doesn't have that same. I'll watch sometimes, especially if I know the person, or I'll watch old stuff. So I mean, I do enjoy watching it, but
I'll do that. Tell me if y'all
felt this. I can't watch 8 hours. 9 hours, however many hours of programming we got. It
is too much again. Now they got with
3 hours of Raw, 2 hours of SmackDown,
and all
2
that
hours
shit.
of NXT. How many AEWs? That's like 9 hours.
That's what happened in the mid '80s. There was so much wrestling a week. The house shows were like, what for? We can turn and watch 20 different companies, during the week. And it kind of fell out. But then those companies wasn't making any money, so they started dropping off, and we started coming back when you had Raw and Nitro, back to two, fighting each other, which was, of course, great. But going back to that question, tell me if you ever felt this way, though. I felt this, when you're getting out of it. I wasn't ready to get out. I was just out of it. That made a difference, too. If you're ready to get out, it's a lot easier to handle. Yeah. When you're not, I couldn't watch it because it's like watching you seeing everybody else do the love that you got for it.
You're watching an ex-girlfriend that you're still in love with.
Somebody else. You're watching your girlfriend, your wife with somebody else. They're doing it now, and you're sitting watching it. That's the way it felt. It's like I can't watch. It just hurts.
Val, how did it feel for you?
For me, by the time I got into 2005, 2006, I started developing other goals in my head. I knew I was, I didn't want to wrestle forever just because it is hard on the body, you know what I mean? And I had elbow injuries, knee injuries. They were adding up over time. About 2005, 2006, traveling. I still love performing even to this day. It's the traveling I could do without, and that really wore on me for a while. So from 2005 all the way up to 2009, I felt like it was more of a job than it ever was before. Before, it was just a lot of fun, and I was having a hell of a time. It was great. But I started to develop other goals. Like I wanted to get into the cannabis industry when I finished up with wrestling.
That was a good transition too.
Yeah, so I was setting those goals to find a way to get somehow into the cannabis industry and start learning that industry from the ground up. And then of course journalism. Private sector journalism.
And anarchy.
Something that's huge in my mind and in my heart and my soul. And I think journalism is probably one of the most important jobs in maintaining a free country, a true free press. And I wanted to become part of that free press. So that's what I'm attempting to do now.
Why so nobody could read you?
So nobody can read. It's one of those things I'm doing that now with my Top Shelf Anarchy site on YouTube. And it's I think it's stirring waves. I'm challenging things that we are grown up to consider as normal. And I'm developing a passion for these things. I developed a passion for freedom and liberty, decades ago when I was 18 years old. And that's just been constantly, month after month, year after year, becoming a more and more of a passion for me. So by the time I finished up wrestling in 2009 full time, I was ready to go. You know what I mean? I was ready to find a way to get into cannabis industry and find a way to set roots as a private sector journalist, and so that's what I'm working on now.
Well done. All right, final question. I'm going to ask both of you guys. Nick, what did Marty Jannetty mean to you?
Trouble.
No, absolutely. Like, I enjoyed tag team wrestling. I like the British Bulldogs, but as they kind of phased off TV, the Rockers were the next babyface team that did cool shit and had matching gear, and I always thought that was something special. I had the poster, the AWA poster that was in the PWI magazine. I had that one up on my wall. I mean, these were guys that I watched, I enjoyed, because I like the athleticism, but then, I like some of the things that the bad guys did too, and it was all around good performer.
How much younger than me are you?
I'm 47.
Damn, 40 years. Wait,
Not that many.
Val, I stayed 38 for years.
What did Marty Jannetty mean to you?
Well, I think that it was the whole high flying aspect of the tag team, right? It was, to me, the tag team division, especially back at that time, was far more entertaining than even the main event division at that time. And Sean and Marty were killing it back then.
If I can interrupt, the Road Warriors revolutionized the tag team business in one way.
Yes, they
revolutionized it in a different way.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. Like when we came in, it was the land of the giants by then, and we were still high flying. I mean, because we loved doing that kind of stuff, and we had the ability to do it. We was doing an AWA. But once we went over, like you were talking about the crossbody thing, that's all we needed there at AWA, right? And once we got over there with Big John Studd, the first day we walked in, back doors for TV tape, there goes Big John Studd. We knew he was big, but 6'9", and he just looks like a monster walking by, big. And the first five guys we saw, Hulk went by, and we knew he was big, but 6'6", and he's just muscled up, he walks by, and I'm looking at Sean like, that's the first two we seen in person. Like, cool, we get to see all these guys. Then finally Andre walks by. He's just a novelty. But it just happened to be the first one to see. Finally, a little guy went by, 6'4", King Kong Bundy.
Little guy?
400 pounds. He's as wide as he is tall.
But remember, two against Orient Express was phenomenal.
Oh, they were so good to work with. Well, listen to this. So we then remember One Man Gang, and then he went as that African Akeem, the African tree. He's 6'6" and about 350. That was the first people we saw walking in. And I looked at Sean and I said, but we don't belong here.
Yeah, you're little compared to that.
Yeah. And two, the extras are there as TV taping, and we didn't know to be there. Get there real early if you want to get a locker room. You know how that works, where you got to go out and sit in the hallway and dress. And so we got, you try to, because the production girls, we're still brand new, scared to death because of all the big guys. And I'm looking because the building's around, right? So you don't see nobody. So you hurry and you go to change. I pull my pants down. And I hear this, brother, do you mind? And I knew the voice, right? And I look at this macho man. He's got Elizabeth with him. He's waiting there. I'm like, God, I didn't know. I'm sorry. I told Sean, we got to go, bro. We can't stay here. But to the wrestling thing. it was like you said, the Road Warriors revolutionized it. I mean, because it was the big rock and sock 'em robots, punch kick. Well, we weren't going to be able to do that with the big guys. So,
but you guys
the high
brought
flying
such a different dimension to WWE that had never been there, that I don't remember seeing there.
True. And so, so we had to come up with more, and tandem stuff, too. To do more stuff together because nobody was doing that there at all. And the high flying, it was our only chance.
And you never won the belt, right?
What's that?
And you guys never.
They did, but
we did, but
somebody had me signing.
They did.
Today, they was like phantom world champions.
Yeah.
Because we did.
You guys and Greg Valentine.
It was even phantom
for
champion.
a day or two.
Guys, I want to thank you. Marty Jannetty, thank you for taking your time. Val Venus, thank you. Eugene, thank you.
Hold on. I found a toy that I just fell in love with.
You got that?
Everybody knows who this is.
I'm the Mountie.
The Mountie, damn it.
And the Mountie always gets his what? His
man. What the hell?
That's so shocked.
The question is,
I am the Mountie.
at what point in time does the Mountie realize it's a real man or not?
Uh-oh.
That's the question.
And are they sharing the same bathroom? But never mind.
You know what? I got to ask one more. I'm sorry. Now I got to ask one more question. Val, transgender wrestlers in pro wrestling.
Oh, here we go.
Thoughts?
Well, we got the Lanny Poffo, and I love Lanny. But
Wait a minute. Hey, watch me suck my own siphon. What the fuck?
Not like that, honey, like this.
Not like that. You're doing it wrong. Let me show you. Anyway.
and that's sad because he's gone, but we were boys.
I love Lanny. Rest in peace.
Transgenders in wrestling, we got to look at wrestling for what it is. It's an entertainment product, and it
Correct.
has the ability to influence young minds, right?
Correct.
Transgenders in wrestling, absolutely, they should be oddities. That's where the money's at. But to put a transgender
they're on the way. If
into
Vince
the
has got
women's
anything,
division, as if, and just talk about them as if they're real women. That's conditioning young minds to accept. You got what's that girl's name?
Brittany
Riley?
or the
Nyla Rose?
No, not
What?
The,
Which
the,
one?
the swimmer that
The
lost
swimmer?
to.
Oh, I know you're talking
Leah
about. I can't remember the
Thomas.
6'6" woman.
Okay.
Was it Riley Grimes?
Okay.
Right,
Yeah.
Riley Grimes.
Right.
I mean, that's a real situation where she's the best swimming woman in the division, and yet she's getting destroyed by a guy that's pretending to be a man that was actually, what was he, 450th
be a
best
woman,
in
right.
men. I mean, that's just not fair.
Holy
And
cannonball.
I was always
Even Kate
taught in
Regina
wrestling.
said so.
I was always taught in wrestling that to have the most chances of having your storyline get over, your storyline has to reflect something that's going on in real life.
Yeah.
Right?
Just play off
You have
society.
real women battling men trying to compete against them as women in real life.
That
Yet
gives me
we're
a-
going to take
I think that
Nyla
gives me
Rose
an
and just
idea.
talk about Nyla Rose like,
Right.
yo, you were just born a female. You're just going to wrestle with females. We're not going to offend anybody. When there's money there, why not reflect that real storyline in real life and have Nyla Rose come in as a beast.
Kill everybody.
Kill everybody. And even before that, have Cody go, whoa, listen, I understand your position, but you're a man. This is a woman's division. Have Nyla take Cody to court.
Yeah.
Do the whole court thing. She wins in court. She gets to compete. There's nothing Cody can do to stop it. She goes blasting through all the females, and you work a storyline. You work that for a while.
Next week, 2 girls at a time, 3 can make a monster.
Yeah.
And then Cody dumps him on his head at the end and pins him, right?
In legitimate competition,
Well, that's the
I
ending
feel
I
like
want.
someone that is more of a man than a woman should not be in a woman's event.
Well,
Right.
And I don't know what the blockers and the hormones do to suppress that.
Right.
But in pro wrestling, we can do whatever the fuck we want.
But my whole point-
It's goddamn phony baloney wrestling. We dress up in oil.
Phony
and goddamn
baloney
spandex
wrestling.
in our underwear with other men. We can't take this shit too seriously.
Hey man,
Oh my God!
some
You know, every
good-
mark on the internet just blew
don't tell
up.
that to AEW
You
fans.
just blew up every mark on the
All
internet.
right.
Phony
Anyway,
baloney,
Pharaoh,
right?
send us out. Thank you guys so much. Always our honor to have you in this studio. Pharaoh.
You've been watching Monte and the Pharaoh, and on behalf of Eugene,
Bye-bye.
Val Venus,
Jesus Christ.
Marty Jannetty,
Day in the
and
house.
Mr. Monte of Monte and the Pharaoh. Later.
The wolf, the wolf.